And then you think about it like, why? I got to get some money. I got to get some money. I got to get some money, right? Why does that look totally different and depending on what community you in? When you live in a suburban community, you know you got to make money. There's no thought for them to sell crack, correct? It's because it's not being flooded through their neighborhood. And it's because resources weren't constantly being pulled out of their neighborhood. They set the game up so that they would be at the point of so much desperation that they would sell that for money. And when they realized what kind of market it was and how much money there was to be made, there's no turning back. It's a cat and mouse game. The same time you flooded my neighborhood with drugs, you flooded it with police. Who would want to live like that? The answer is nobody. But they set the game up the right way. And now that the crime is plummeting across the country, the crime statistics, especially in the sense of like we're also living in a surveillance state. So the streets is dead. You know what I'm saying? 1985, police got to come by and really do surveillance. There ain't a camera on every corner. There ain't a cell phone in everybody's hand. The streets is dead. This is the reason why you can get on Twitter and see so much crime. Because cell phones. So now you think that crime is happening a lot more than it is. Because if we had cell phones in 85, if we had cell phones in 95, from 1985 to 1995, you would think that we actively lived in a war zone. And in some cases, people did. Like in a real way. Whatever a microcosm of war is. They were in between blocks over this fucking $5 rock. You dig what I'm saying? So crime is down. I think the reason why there are pages dedicated to showing black people committing crimes, black people fighting, black people engaging in shootouts is to reinforce the negative stereotype about us inherently being violent. But the numbers say different. I don't want to hear that 13 commit, 13% of the kind permit. That shit has been debunked several times. If that's your talking point, you just racist or you self-hating. A white person say, well, 13% of the population commit this much crime, you're racist. If a black person say, we're 13% of it, you just hate yourself. Go lick a boot somewhere else. This ain't the place for boot licking. But this is the first dot that I connected. Why deploy the National Guard? Why enact martial law and deploy an arm of fascism in a city that's been relatively safe? Compared, we had a 30-year low in crime. It's because the prison industrial complex is suffering. And as crime plummets nationally, they're going to criminalize black skin. This is what this attack is on. We know ICE is an attack on brown people. You know, we know this attack on all people of color, but especially brown people who have assumed the face of the immigrant, the alien. We know he's talking about Hispanic people when he says that. When he talks about reining in crime, he's talking about black people. We know that this country has strategically made crime synonymous with black. If you're a MAGA, you're a coward. You're a coward, you're a pussy, you're submissive. You're a submissive man. You know what I'm saying? You like that power. You like Trump is your daddy. Because not only is it a tool of distraction, the more people start talking about him being in the Epstein files, and it's been confirmed that he's in the Epstein files, telling us stuff we already know. Now he wants to deploy and distract. And telling the police they can do whatever they want. Well, police, 9 out of 10, pussy, power hungry, God complex, and know that it's fair game to brutalize black people. They know it's fair game. I know. But it's just this is the prison industrial complex has to be suffering. So this is a twofer. You know what I'm saying? It distracts them from him, which we not distracted by it, my nigga. We know that you on them lists. We know that your cronies is on them lists. But the more it all seems to be happening all at the same time, correct? This is Project 2025. 300,000 black women out of jobs. The most educated by race and gender in the country. The most qualified for the jobs are out of jobs. AI being used as a tool of racism to dismiss or disqualify black applicants. Okay, so as our unemployment rate goes up, but the crime rates are going down, the prison industrial complex is suffering. It's probably not as much people being sent off to prison. People are finding different ways because the streets are dead. It's a surveillance state. We live in a surveillance state. Everything you do is seen and recorded by somebody.